Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of this video series where we are taking apart a vintage 1930s Ingersoll dollar pocket watch. This particular watch is special because it's a Triumph version that were only produced in Great Britain. And so after some long good years of service, this particular watch needed a good service. And so in the first video, I disassembled the watch and prepared it for the pre-cleaning stage, which is what you're seeing now. I'll first start with the cleanest part of the watch. In this case, it was the gear train, and each particular part will get a nice bath in isopropyl alcohol and a good scrub from a toothbrush. That'll eliminate any type of debris or sediment that may be deposited in all the nooks and crannies we've got there, and hopefully the cleaner will take care of anything else that might be left behind. And so after I've washed all those particular parts, it's on to the bottom plate that I'm scrubbing away here now, and this is one of the dirtier parts of the watch, and so I'll take extra care to clean it thoroughly. Now, this bottom plate and top plate as well, they're what suspend the gear train in the movement, and where they actually make contact is a very special area called the pivot. Now, on the base plate itself, the pivot is simply a hole, and the pivot male side would be the axle of the gear train. And so what will happen is that sediment, dirt, will mix with the oil that could be dried on in these pivots, and by running an old watch like that, you could actually cause that slurry mix to really do damage to the pivot and prematurely wear the watch out. But in this case, that it had not happened, and so I was able to simply take some pegwood and clean the pivots. It's really important to clean the pivots as well as you can. And so now here I'm on the bezel, and this is particularly an important area because it's where the crystal will seat, and that's one of the most important pieces of a pocket watch, because we need that crystal to seat well, because we can't have it falling out. When it does, you'll bend and damage and possibly break the hands inside your pocket, and so this is very important that this bezel is very clean to prevent any type of error like that from happening. Can be catastrophic, because even if the watch is running, if the hands aren't indicating time, it's not working. So onto the keyless works here. Now this was quite a dirty area, as to be expected. It is exposed on the top side there, and this area does have a lot of pressure because we're using the keyless works to set the time and also wind the watch, and there's a lot of pressure. The mainspring on these pieces are very strong, and these gears are quite hefty, and it's a nice spot for dirt and debris to collect. So onto the top plate here, you can see the black click there. I'm going through each pivot hole one by one, and I'm going to attack this from both the bottom and the top side of the plate just to make sure that there's not any debris. I'm going to run this through an ultrasonic cleaner in just a moment, but this pre-cleaning really makes a difference. It's a bit like painting. This would be the sand and prep stage. There we go, we're getting the last of these pivot holes cleaned out. Okay, job done. Now we're on to a very important piece here, and this would be the case. This is doing quite a bit of heavy lifting on protecting the movement, as it's holding in the bezel to protect the hands, and it's holding on the back case, protecting the back side of the movement. And you can see here that there's a lot of dirt and debris that have been collected in this area over the years. And once again, we want to make sure that this is as clean as possible, so when that back plate is press fit on, it's as tight as possible. When dirt and debris are between the case and the back lid, this can weaken this press fit. Onto the main barrel bridge. This was quite a dirty area here. Mainspring barrel bridge. There we go. Just a nice scrub. As you can see, quite a bit of dirt and debris have came off of this thing. We started with a fresh, clean lid there. I didn't expect this much dirt to be hiding here, but that's good. That was preventing this from working as good as it can. Now what I'm going to do is pull out the main spring here. Now this is where all of the energy of a watch is stored and is used, and actually as the watch is working, it's a slow release of that energy. And so we'll get this thing taken apart here, and what we want to do is eliminate as much friction as possible. The more efficient this spring can uncoil, the better it is, the longer the next service interval will be. And so I'm going to start by cleaning off the top of this really well. That looked really rough there, but actually there's a beautiful main barrel underneath here. It's just a little dirty, that's all. The teeth look great, everything is in good shape here. There we go. Onto the top here, and it's also very important to make sure that the sidewall of this main barrel is smooth and without dirt as well. So I'm going to take my pegwood again here on this flat side, and I'm going to smooth this out, make sure I don't feel any rough edges. Same here at the bottom of the well. I want to make sure everything's nice and smooth and clean and feels good. Because this spring, oh yeah, forgot to mention that. So the spring was broken here at the end, and so that's normal for these pieces. That's a very common place for those to break. What I do is drill a small hole and rivet those back together here. So once we're done, I put all the parts here into this ultrasonic cleaner, again using a fresh batch of isopropyl alcohol here. It heats it and vibrates it. And now that that's cleaning, we'll work on the case here. The only issue there was that loose stem that just was a little bit of dirt that had worked its way under the button there, and after a short buff on the crystal, we ended up with this, a fully functional timekeeping pocket watch, ready to go back into service and make somebody happy for another decade to come, at least. Thank you again for checking out this video. We appreciate your time, and thanks again for watching.